I love comedies, especially intelligent comedies with strong social commentary. Sometimes, though, there's such a wellspring of material written for a comedy that self-editing is the best thing for it. Hello and welcome to episode 79 of One Man's Opinion, where I review professional theater in New York and Connecticut. Today I am reviewing Yale Repertory Theater's presentation of Between Two Knees, written by the 1491s, directed by Eric Ting, originally produced at the Oregon Shakespeare Festival and running through June 4th. If you're unfamiliar with the 1491s, they are an intertribal indigenous sketch comedy troupe based out of Minnesota and Oklahoma. They are probably most known for their work on their YouTube channel, where they grew into an internet sensation, bringing national recognition on The Daily Show, Al Jazeera, and NPR. Their work is sort of a reclamation of their identity in an industry that has long stereotyped indigenous peoples as uneducated savages. Between Two Knees is an exploration of the lives of an indigenous couple, Isaiah and Irma, played by Derek Garza and Shyla Lefner, at a younger age in the first act, and by Watko Long and Sheila Tosi as the older versions of characters in the second act. The story follows how they meet at a re-education facility run by the Catholic Church. They're fleeing from authorities as they liberate other children from other schools, their eventual settlement in Wounded Knee, South Dakota, and their children and grandchildren. The time span and the reason for the title, outside of its double entendre, is between the Wounded Knee Massacre on December 29, 1890, where the U.S. Army killed as many as 300 Lakota tribespeople, and the Wounded Knee occupation of 1973, where approximately 200 Lakota took control of Wounded Knee as an act of protest against the mistreatment of indigenous tribes by the United States and their tribal president, Richard Wilson. There's more to it than just that, but I'm not here to give a history lesson. I encourage you to look it up and discover more of it on your own time. As Larry, the narrator of the play, played by Justin Gauthier, states in Act 2, Between Two Knees is about as historically accurate as the history books of the 1970s. Historical accuracy isn't exactly the point of the play. There is history to be learned here, but it's intentionally satirized throughout. Moments are exaggerated and lampooned with some hysterically revised history that lovers of Quentin Tarantino would appreciate. The actions of the play aren't to be taken seriously, but the message behind it should. For centuries, the indigenous people of both North and South America have suffered under the oppression of the nations that have overtaken their lands, including the United States. The play takes pretty clear aim at the white colonialists and their progeny for their actions historically and our indifference today. And I'd say that their humor at our expense is justified. I, personally, don't mind a bit of good-natured, if biting, humor at my expense, especially if in its efforts I learn something along the way, and Between Two Knees succeeds with this effort. Where Between Two Knees falters is in its runtime. At nearly 2.5 hours, it's a long comedy that can use a bit of trimming. No offense to Gauthier's performance, which I enjoyed, but much of the interstitial dialogue, as well as the introduction mostly led by the character of Larry, could be cut and the story would be streamlined significantly. The play could start with the prophecy and birth of Isaiah and go from there, without the stopping to explain things along the way. Plus, some of the scenes ran a little too long, like the scene where Irma gives birth. It could have been abridged a bit to not only cut the runtime, but also streamline an otherwise funny sequence. When it does work, though, it is pretty hilarious. The breakout of the Catholic re-education school, done in a Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter homage, is great, and the finale is out of left field bizarre, yet works. Between Two Knees is overlong, and you may end up squirming in your seat and looking at the time, but it is worth the visit. It's pointed and poignant, but within the sharp barbs of truth, there are genuinely funny moments to remind us to laugh at our own historical folly. But I am only one man's opinion, so be sure to leave yours in the comments below. If you'd like to see Between Two Knees, I'll leave a link for tickets in the description. You can support my channel by liking, sharing, and subscribing. Turn your notifications on to be alerted to future reviews. My next review will be Goodspeed Opera House's production of Cabaret. Thank you for watching, and I will see you at the theater.